All right, everybody, welcome in and welcome back. Season 4, episode 26, aka our 137th show. Andy and I cracking jokes right before the start of this just to try to get our mood up a little.
So don't let our smiles fool you guys to how we're actually feeling if you're curious. So we'll keep it as smiles as long as we can.
Yep.
But yeah, we'll just get it. I think we're just gonna get into it because there's a lot of anger behind all these smiles. So
Yep.
Paul, I saw the results this past week, and I was very surprised because I know we had talked about we didn't really expect this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like there were things in the match that really tilted it, I'd say, in Atletico's favor.
Yep.
What happened? Just
Sure.
say what happened.
Sure, yeah. So pretty cagey affair in the first half, back and forth. Both teams had some opportunities. Barcelona definitely had more in the first half than Atletico Madrid did. Rashford couldn't convert on a couple of them. Lamine Yamal couldn't convert on a couple of them. So it stayed 0-0. And then I think it was in the 40th or the 41st minute, a ball was played over to the top. Diego Simeone was in behind. Kubarsi runs to catch up. The ball's kind of bounces and goes behind Simeone a little bit. So he tries to stick his leg back at a weird angle to try to control it. Doesn't have control of the ball. We'll get to that in a second. And then Kubarsi's looking at the ball and kind of the position of the player. But because Simeone stuck his leg back at a weird angle, Kubarsi hits that leg and Simeone tumbles over. Referee initially gives a yellow. VAR says, come look at it. Referee goes and looks at it, decides it is a straight red, denial of a goal scoring opportunity. So Kubarsi is sent off. Julian Alvarez scores on that free kick. Beautiful free kick, by the way. Going to take nothing away from that. But Atletico Madrid go into the half up 1-0. Here is my issue. And I think UEFA has declared this to be correct. Thierry Henry commented about this after the game as well. A lot of the keyboard warriors were commenting about this. Is yes, there's contact. Yes, Kubarsi is the last defender. The only issue I have with the criteria of a clear and obvious denial of a goal scoring opportunity is Simeone does not have clear control of the ball. The ball is behind him. He tries to stick his leg out. He doesn't get control of it. It's not like he sticks his leg out and gets a good touch forward that would have put him in one-on-one with Joan Garcia.
Yeah.
He barely, if any, has control of the ball. So I agreed with the referee's initial decision of a yellow. UEFA agreed as well, and I'll get to that in a minute. But it completely changed the outcome of the game. By the way, Barcelona still outpossessed Atletico Madrid in this game with 10 men. We did our best. Unfortunately, Atletico Madrid got another goal in the second half. Gerard Martin got outmuscled by Sorloth for another good goal. We go down 2-0 going into the second leg. I'm gonna gripe on the refereeing again, and here's why. In the first half, a substitute for Atletico Madrid, one of the center backs, had to come in because one of their center backs stepped wrong on his foot on a jump and had to come off. Within 5 minutes, he picks up a yellow card. In the second half, the Atletico Madrid goalkeeper, they're trying to time waste, right?
Yeah.
But he kicks the ball. He's in the 6-yard box. The ball is stationary. He kicks the ball to that defender who had already gotten a yellow card. That defender reaches down and touches the ball with his hand, stops the ball, and then kicks it again.
That's a clear mistake. That's a clear, that's the clear and obvious mistake that VAR is supposed to come in and be like, "Oh, you missed this."
Yes, because that's a PK. It's a PK, so that's a PK offense, which is what VAR is. That's one of the things that they're there for. The defender who touched the ball was the same guy who had a yellow already. That should have been a second yellow. PK to Barcelona, 10-10. At that point, it was 1-0. If Barcelona converts that, it's 1-1 and the game's on with 10 men each side.
Yeah.
I don't get it. The referee apologized after the game to Barcelona. UEFA has suspended this referee for the rest of the season from all Champions League matches. Guess what? Doesn't do us a whole lot of good since we're down 2-0 going into this leg.
Yeah, at this point, yeah.
Dude, I don't get it. Again, I think the red card is a judgment call. I think the judgment was wrong. But if you want to give that, fine. But you got to call a fair game.
Yeah. You
Like,
gotta
so
find that
this has
clear. You
happened
have to
two
find that
other
clear.
times.
Mm-hmm.
It has gone one of each way both other times, where a referee has given it as a yellow card in a PK before, and a referee has decided, oh, a young kid made a mistake. We don't want that to affect the game. But if you go by the letter of the law, the ball is in play, a player reaches down with a hand to stop it, and hands handballs in the box.
Yeah.
Even if you decide you don't want to give that as a yellow card, it's still a handball in the box.
Right. Yeah.
And it should be a PK.
Yeah. And I think, because I'll get into this for United, but like even in the context of that, like that's a complete change, and like that's exactly the type of thing, that type of behavior, type of action that they're trying to get rid of in that context of like, oh, taking it, readjusting it at the start, being like, no, like it's all about like getting it set and playing with the ball at your feet. Like the play is happening. You can't be doing that. There's nothing else influencing it. It's just those two things happening.
Yeah.
So that's where I'll go into it in a little bit later. But like, yep, when it's letter of the law, if the context makes sense, that's when you go and you put it in. Yeah. But when the context doesn't make sense, like the context of how the hell Diego Simeone is getting control of a ball that's behind him that he doesn't really see, and he sticks a leg out, so the defender can't even charge for the ball. Because then you're like, okay, then it's like anytime a defender then touches an attacker and doesn't get the ball, you have to call that. And like, if that's the way you want to play, okay, but like,
yeah, if we're going strict interpretation of the rules, it has to be strict interpretation of the rules for the entirety of the game, no matter what happens.
Yep.
You know, and Koke had a bunch of Koke should have been sent off in this game too. In the first 5 minutes, he runs through Dani Olmo, studs on leg. Should have been a yellow, but the referee decides to keep his card in his pocket, probably because it's in the first 5 minutes of the game. But then 15 minutes later has another horrible challenge on Dani Olmo and gets a yellow card for that. So it's just like so many different things. So many. But this is the opportunity. Barcelona, you get a second crack at this team. It's going to be tough because you're going to the Metropolitano. And Simeone is going to park the absolute living crap out of the bus and try to counterattack you to death. Yeah. But it's like, you have an opportunity to rewrite everything that happened in the first game. And it's going to be tough because you're without your best center back in Kubarsi. Gerard Martin picked up a little knock in the game over the weekend too, so he might not be available. So it's tough, but you have the opportunity. You have the players. You Barcelona get to decide how this ends. Yeah. And it's like, I understand things are stacked against you. Absolutely. Like, I totally get it. But like you're saying, there is that opportunity. You can only play what's in front of you at this point. So now you have to go in and play that and that what's in front of you. I know it's exactly the kind of game that Diego Simeone wanted. He gets to defend a lead back at home. He can do whatever he likes, but there's still, I don't know, I would still think there's enough cracks and enough chinks in the armor that this isn't like the Atletico Madrid of old where it can be done more so than it was in the past. Yeah. And the last time Simeone defended a lead, Barcelona put up 3. So, granted different circumstances because they had 4 at that point, but we can score goals against them. So it's, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. But just frustrating. It was very frustrating. So we get a nice little bounce back win 4-1 over Espanyol in the Catalan derby. Both teams being within Barcelona. It was somewhat convincing. 2-0 early. Espanyol gets a nice goal in like the 55th, 56th minute, somewhere around there. And we get 2 goals late to make it 4-1. Ferran Torres finally scores. He hadn't scored since like mid-January. Wow. But he got 2 actually. And 2 pretty decent goals. One on a contested header and one on Lamine Yamal did his Trivela, swooping in kind of behind the back line, and Torres just barely brushes the ball with his foot on the ground and the ball kind of trickles in the net, but he got it enough to get it past the goalkeeper. So Lamine Yamal also got a nice goal. So he had a goal and 2 assists in this game. And then Frankie de Jong actually made his showed his face again for the team after being away with injury for many weeks.
Yeah, I kind of forgot he was still playing, to be honest.
Yep. Yeah. He got a nice ball played in behind to him, and he just kind of sat on the ball in the box and found Rashford with a nice little chip pass over the top, kind of behind everybody, and he hit it kind of behind his body on the volley into the bottom corner. Really nice goal. So we get too late, 4-1. Big for the league, but it's one of those things where, you know, we had to use people, and Atletico Madrid kind of tanked. They're tanking the league for this Champions League, which is kind of frustrating to see. Yeah. But, you know, we didn't play our AA team, but we definitely had to play some of our players. So, you know, interesting to see kind of how that plays out in this midweek game with the resting of players and whatnot. So, but yeah, a lot of questions around Atletico Madrid's field going into this game too, man. Like, it's Barcelona players complain because we actually practiced on their pitch today and we're not super happy with the conditions of the field. This has been a recurring theme with many opponents, including Barcelona, in one of the games, like in the Copa del Rey game, first leg, where the field is just kind of made be pretty slick, have some bad bounces in it, just trying to mess with a team like Barcelona who plays with the ball more. I don't know. It's gamesmanship. Again, it's something that it's a factor, but you know, if you want to beat the team, you got to go out there and beat them. It doesn't matter where you play, how many players you play with. If you're going to beat him, you got to go out there and beat him. Yeah.
Did you hear that? I think it was Gyökeres for Arsenal said the same thing. I think when they were playing against Bournemouth. So, like, I know there's an element of gamesmanship in the field and what people will do, but I just kind of think, like, even at this point, unless it's like very much egregious, like they're tearing up certain sections of play, like if you had like a left winger that was really good, and then for that week that they're playing against you, all of a sudden they don't have enough seed for that part, and so they're going to do that. Then I get that as like that's skeevy in terms of playing the game, but then I just always get wary of like when things are excuses and when things are like debilitating factors, or detracting factors. So I think it's just really tough for you, and I think really that those refereeing decisions I think really hurt your team and your team's chances, and again just kind of puts it out of what's in your control, which really sucks. So
but you know, if you're worried about slipping, just go out on the field from the start with your cleats that have longer studs. You know, like don't even let it be an issue. If you know that this field has had issues with being slippery, and you go out, you do a pitch inspection before the game starts. If you're like, this is a little slick, wear your cleats with longer studs and don't let it be a factor.
Right. Yeah. Because I think of all the players that are like playing in lower leagues where it's like pitches are like, they're just mud.
Yep.
Or just straight dirt.
Yep.
So like they're playing and they're trying to get to your level where like everything is so pristine at that point. So it's kind of par for the course in some ways, I guess. But
that is where we're at. So some good news, mostly bad news for Barcelona going into this second leg of the quarterfinal tie against Atletico Madrid. But again, we have the opportunity. 2 goals is not insurmountable, especially for this team that put up 7 in a game against Newcastle. Like, very doable.
Yeah, you guys can do it. So that's like a 2-goal lead is not as big as one might think. Yep. So especially in the offense that you guys have. So So I'll be pulling for Barcelona to get there, through there. Well, your week was kind of like my week, Paul, except there's not a whole. For us, the nice thing is that United are playing again. United have not played, I think, in 3 weeks. So, whether that's a good or a bad thing, I think it was really going to come down to today to see, like, was that still good to be out, like, and not playing in a match for 3 weeks. First half, I think, kind of summed up everything about what that break did for us because we were easily second best for everything. Intensity wasn't there in terms of how he pressed, in terms of like trying to get the ball forward. We were very, I'd say, ponderous trying to get the ball forward. Leeds were very, very aggressive. And one thing that I noticed was that Benjamin Sesko, I think, had like recognized that like Leeds were going to press. So what Benjamin's going to do to kind of counteract that is he's going to make runs and arcing runs into channels to stretch the game. And our defenders, I think Luke Shaw, I saw Lenny Yoro, maybe even Martinez and Mazraoui, everyone in the back line just kind of just not doing it. Whether it's a confidence thing or trying to get into like the match like sharpness of it, they were just not doing that, and that frustrated me. I think there are times too where our midfield of Manuel Ugarte, when he was in, he was not making those passes and being even more ponderous on the ball. So that was really, really frustrating to watch there. And we definitely got absolutely run over and dominated in the first half. So I think there's maybe the factor of not playing for 3 weeks does put in a factor of what people's match sharpness is like. But I don't know. I feel like if you're someone as a player, my feeling is you want to go out and stomp any of that doubt out of people saying that, oh, you're going to be lukewarm coming out. Yeah, I think that's the frustrating and disappointing thing is they didn't come out to say, hey, or the performance suggested that they did not come out to say, I'm so ready to be back, and here's why I'm ready to be back. It said more of like, oh, I need some time. Like, it's a Monday. I need to get through my Monday. Yeah, and that was really disappointing. So first goal that we give up happens in the 3rd minute, or 5th minute, sorry. And I think there's something to be said here. I don't think it's been really talked too much about besides in the post-match conferences, but there is a point where a ball is crossed in by Leeds. It's crossed in. It looks like it's going to get cleared by Lenny Yoro, but Lenny Yoro isn't able to get a good clear cross on it, and it ends up skidding off the top of his head. It goes right into the path of a Leeds attacker. I think is Okafor, and he just slots it in. Pretty easy touch. When you go back in and see the replay, what you see is Lenny Yoro jumps up early for the ball and looks like he has it all covered. But in comes Dominic Calvert-Lewin, not with his head, but with his elbow and forearm, and kind of just punches into Lenny Yoro as he's up and playing. Lenny isn't like defending himself or anything. I think he's playing it honestly just as you would play of, I basically have a free header. There's no one around me. I'm going to go up and take this ball. And then Dominic Calvert-Lewin comes and cracks him basically. And there's no call. There's no VAR check. Maybe there is a VAR check, but VAR doesn't call the referee over and say like, hey, like we might have missed something. Like this looks like this could be a foul leading to the goal. None of that. Absolutely none of that. Which is, I think, kind of crazy, in my opinion, when someone's making that jump to lead in, not even really making a play on the ball because his head's so far back and he's leading with his arm to go and get Lenny Yoro. I think that's a clear foul. And that was not checked at all. Second half, or the next goal we gave up in the first half was just a cacophony of errors where we just kept, I think we headed the ball in the air. It must have been like 7 times. Didn't try to get it out. We just kept heading it up and up. And it was just farcical. Like that was poor. That was so poor. It reminded me of like back when there were the farces happening under Oli in defense, under Ragnick, under Eric Ten Hag. Just all these farcical errors making it kind of that crept up. But skate past that. We head now to the 60th minute, and there is, as I'm watching the game, I'm like, okay, we're possession, I think, is in our half. And all of a sudden, the announcer goes, hold on a sec, because there is now a VAR check on potential violent play. So crazy, just out of context, because there was nothing in the game. There's no like foul. No one fell over. No one was like agonizing in pain. VAR just comes in at this point, felt like out of context of the game, and calls this. And what they show is maybe like a minute earlier, Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Lisandro Martinez were jumping up for the ball, and there was a tussle with the ball as it was coming down. I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is backing into Lisandro Martinez when he is in the air. And so Lisandro Martinez is like kind of holding and jostling for his position. And in doing so, he does grab Dominic Calvert-Lewin's hair. I also think you do see in the replay that he does not pull it down or tug it. He grabs it, and I think just lets go. He knows that it's there, and then he lets it go. Once he realizes that, oh, I have his hair, I need to let go. Because
I'm gonna play devil's advocate here because I saw the replay. I thought he pulled.
I don't think he pulled.
Okay.
I don't think he pulled in a yanking thing, specifically in a violent conduct way. I don't think it's where you've seen it with other players where like they're taking it, like when the player's on the run and yanking a guy down to bring him down. I don't think it's that. It is, I think, Lisandro Martinez is jostling with your Martinez. See, I was trying to not have you play devil's advocate by saying Martinez, and you played devil's advocate, so I'm like, okay, Martinez, it's going to be. So I think, again, the context is so crucial in that because Martinez is jumping in the air. He's jostling for position. He has a right to jostle and keep his position and keep himself steady. And so you can grab, because that's in the letter of the law, like you can grab someone as long as you let go when they are moving away. And so when Dominic Calvert-Lewin was moving away, he had let go. So my thing is, in the slow motion, it looks like it's a tug. It looks like it's a foul. But in the context of the whole game and how it's happening, I don't know what, if you're seeing it in the context of him jumping, holding his position as he's being pushed back by Dominic Calvert-Lewin and a natural tendency to go and reach out to hold something when you're going down, I don't understand how you give that. And even the announcer in the match said that, of like, I don't see how you put this in the context of the game and give that foul. So
yeah,
already
it's not like it was a one-on-one situation. Like it's not like it led directly to a goal for either side. It was a tussle. That's where I have a little bit more of a problem with it. Because again, I did see a little bit of a tug, but it didn't seem egregious. Mm-hmm. It didn't seem like 100% intentional. Like Martinez is like, oh, I'm going to pull him. Yeah. Like that's where I had a little bit more of a problem with it. So.
And that's my problem with it too, is like letter of the law, him pulling down on hair, him touching hair, I guess, is reckoning for violent conduct. But I think just like in the context of everything of what's happening, he's not tugging down. Like he's not vehemently trying to tug him down to say F you or whatever in doing that. He is playing the ball. In doing that, he's trying to jostle for his position and play the ball. And he does not yank down. So for me, I'm like, the game is gone if that is going to happen, because if anytime there's tussling or anyone is coming down, like let's say like someone's falling over and like tries to steady themselves for whatever reason and grabs an opponent's hair and that comes down, technically that's now violent conduct.
Yeah,
because by letter of the law, that's what it would be.
It's micromanaging is what it is.
Yeah, it is. So like I personally can't stand that, because that then changes the game. Obviously, you go down to an instant red for that, and it was completely just out of the context of the game. Honestly, if it was more violent conduct, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin would just be on the ground, and then there would have been something. But now I think you're going to encourage that now more because you're going to call that and go back and call those things now. So like yeah, that's what I'm feeling is like I totally get why people are like the game is gone because I'm kind of feeling that we're like get rid of this VAR really because it's just so infuriating to take things out of the context of the game. So that's my
that's
cents.
that's the biggest thing is like if you're not going to if VAR is not going to be used correctly, day in day out, game in game out, league in league out, why have it?
Yeah,
it causes more confusion. Fans are more confused than ever, I think.
Yeah.
You know, it was meant to be used for the clear and obvious, but I think it's gotten so minute and referees I don't even think know when fully to use VAR.
No.
Because they don't. We saw it in the Barcelona game, you know, or they go down to the very minutest, smallest detail to be like, oh, that's an offense or it's not. And it's like either everything has to be minute or it has to be just the very, very obvious, like the very bare bones.
Yeah.
Like you can't have this gray in the middle. You can't.
Right. And that's like, to me, that's like, that is where refereeing can live in that gray. Like, because like you said, VAR is for the clear and obvious, but it seems like VAR is trying to make everything clear and obvious.
But
and
failing.
Like, that's wrong. But yeah, but that's like wrong because like things aren't clear and obvious. If you put things in slow motion, yes, you can find these little minute details and things. But again, like the thing of like if someone's a toenail off sides or like someone who has their non-ball playing body parts, like keeping someone on sides, how like I don't understand that. Like if I can just throw out an arm if I'm a defender and just be like, oh, I'm just going to put my arm out, that'll make the dude that's running against me, he'll be off sides for that point. Like that's so stupid. Like so like don't like trying to get these things that are clear and obvious. Like so for example, like what happened with the goal kick that should have been a penalty, that's clear and obvious. That's where someone can step in and be like, oh, that's like that is something as clear as day that should have been called. But I don't think anyone else is saying like, oh, that's clear as day. Things happening, penalty. I don't think that's clear as day that Lisandro Martinez tugs on Martinez tugs on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So I watched too much British football, man. So
I get it.
It comes in.
I get it. You're set up for failure. Their pronunciation just irks me every time.
Yeah, it's bad with Italian players too. So when they say pasta and all that,
yeah,
like, it's bad.
The worst for Barcelona is Araujo. It's Araujr, which is ow. It makes an ow kind of sound. And the British announcers say Arujo.
Oh no.
And I'm like, guys, please. And it irks me every single time.
Yeah. I hear you there. So lots of irking going around for all of us. So I'm plugging in my computer, Paul. Do you want to give the rundown of the rest of the leagues and check the vibes away from our very sad, mad, negative kind of vibes?
Yeah,
happening?
well, you plug that in. We can jump right to Spain since you did Bundesliga, and that way it'll kind of make a little bit more sense here. Since you did the kind of the breakdown of what things are going on in Germany. But with La Liga, Andy, big news. Real Madrid drew against Girona 1-1. Oh, Barcelona extend their lead again. I am on cloud 9 in the league anyway. So I will say there was a controversial no penalty given that I think should have been given to Real Madrid. You know, if I'm looking at this as a neutral, Mbappe's going in the box. He gets caught by a loose elbow. That looks more like the defender's feeling for Mbappe than, you know, trying to stop his progress. He does make contact with his head. Mbappe's head is cut open. He's bleeding. You know, I don't have sympathy because Real Madrid are the biggest whiners and divers in the sport this season and have gotten so many penalties that shouldn't have been, that since you got one that didn't go your way, I have no sympathy. Should this one have been a penalty? Yeah, it should have. But you've gotten, I don't know, 15 or 20 this season up to this point that should not have been penalties that were given to you. So I have no sympathy. You should beat a team like Girona straight up without needing penalties. Yeah. But you didn't. So you drop points again. No, again, no, absolutely no sympathy here.
Yeah.
So yeah, they finally get a taste of their own medicine, which is just so sweet as a
Yeah.
Barcelona fan. Villarreal were victorious on the Athletic Club Bilbao 2-1. Man, what has happened to Athletic Club Bilbao this season? Man, Nico Williams, terrible
Not
decision to
sure.
stay with them.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. Yeah, and then Atletico Madrid, like I mentioned, Andy, they were sacked by Sevilla 2-1. Like, I just,
Hmm.
how? Like, you are so bad in the league. It's unbelievable. And yeah, they did rest players for the Champions League match, but you are so bad in the league
Hmm.
this year. I don't get it
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand. There's like Jekyll and Hyde teams, and it seems like Atletico Madrid's kind of the Jekyll and Hyde team,
this
but
season
I
for
don't know.
sure.
Yeah, but I don't know. Again, we'll see if they're really Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to midweek or tomorrow when you guys play them. So
Yep,
that's kind of, I think that's the big C.
for
We'll wait
sure.
and see for that.
For sure. So
Um,
yeah, I mean, but with points, Andy, Barcelona extend their lead 79 points now. Real Madrid 70, Villarreal 61, and Atletico Madrid 57. So, you know, it's the league gets a little bit easier being
mhm.
basically three games up.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know.
and that leads. It looks like the lead is growing, so
Yep,
that's the positive there.
for sure.
So
For sure. Andy, let's move back to Germany and hear your thoughts on the Bundesliga.
yeah, so what I did in my little Google search, we found that Bayern beat St. Pauli 5-0.
Oof.
So they're Bayern's ripping and roaring.
Yep.
I'm sure they're looking forward to their next game against Real Madrid. Stuttgart also had a big weekend where they put 4 goals past Hamburg. So I like to say it as like Stuttgart Hamburg,
Hammer.
just to add in that a little alliteration there. But probably the biggest result that matters is that Dortmund lose to Bayer
Oof.
Leverkusen. So
Eek.
what that means is, yep, they're not going to keep track with Bayern, but also they're letting the door slip a little bit for Stuttgart and RB Leipzig, who won their match 1-0 to join in there. So we look like in the terms of the points total is as Bayern have 73, Dortmund have 64, Stuttgart and RB Leipzig are tied at 56, but Stuttgart with their big win over Hamburg now have the goal differential in that. Heading now south to Serie A. What I can say is that Inter beat Como in a 7-goal thriller. They won 4-3 to kind of steady their ship. And Napoli are not able to get the victory over Pisa, but they are able to salvage a point thanks to none other than Scott McTominay to draw or level scoring at 1-1. Uh, Roma get back to winning ways against Pisa. They put 3 goals against Pisa and keep a clean sheet, while Juve get a 1-0 victory over their opponents. So what that looks like is that Inter now have 75, Napoli at 66. Milan, surprisingly, I think lost their match. They're still at 63 points, and Juve now are at 60. Roma are 3 points away from the Champions League. They still sit in sixth place and are 1 point below Como at 58 for the Europa League spot there. Um, Adding kind of more hurt this weekend, or actually even today. They played today. Cosenza lose to AZ, or probably AZ Percherno, 3-1. Cosenza went up a goal early and then proceeded to give up 3 unanswered in the following. So, yeah, not an awesome day for my teams, but there are things to be happy about in looking at other people's misery. Let's go to the Premier League, Paul.
Sure. Yeah. So I don't know if this is happy, but City crushed Chelsea 3-0. Andy, the talks have begun. The
Mm-hmm.
the Arsenal bottle. Do they
Mm-hmm.
begin the bottle? against Bournemouth with a 2-1 loss? I don't know, but it's getting
Mm-hmm.
closer. So
Yeah.
Aston Villa, good news for you, Andy, is they drew with Nottingham Forest. So what that means for the standings is Arsenal have 70 points, City with 64 with the game in hand. So if they win that game in hand, the lead shrinks to 3.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
then United in third with 55, Aston Villa tied with 55, but a little behind on goal differential. So the nice thing for you guys is there are, I think, 5 potential spots for Champions League in the
Mm-hmm.
Premier League this year. So hopefully we will see Manchester United in the Champions League next year. Things are looking good for that. But still got to finish the season strong. So,
Yeah, we really
I
do.
mean, Arsenal, we're gonna see.
Yeah, it's what I read was it's now in City's hands because City do face Arsenal in these coming next couple months. So that's going to be an all important game for City there. And I don't think City are in. Yeah, City aren't in the Champions League. So this is their Champions League. This is for their season.
Yep.
So that's
Yeah.
going to be a big one there. But yeah, we face Chelsea next on Saturday. That's going to be unfortunately a must watch for myself.
Yes.
And what was I going to say? Yeah, we face Chelsea next, and then I think in May we face Liverpool. So 2 contenders for the top 5 we face. So we need to right the ship. We've lost, I think, 2 of our last 4 matches. So we need to get back to winning ways. Our last win was against Aston Villa, but we drew against Bournemouth after that, and now we lost to losing to Leeds. So now we're in a bit of a pickle with our defense as well. Now we're without Lissandro Martinez,
There you
and
go.
um, I don't know what's happening with Harry Maguire because he got sent off on a stupid red as well. Again, with all the VAR stuff in between there. So we'll see. But Paul, anything else in the Champions League you want to cover before we get to our super subs and duds?
Yeah, I think we talked about Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, PSG. They pushed Liverpool 2-0. Pretty convincing win there. So they're again well on their way, but anything can happen. You never
And
know.
I think they're
So that's
playing
kind of
at Anfield next. So I think, yeah, I think they're
yeah.
playing at Anfield. So
I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing PSG go down at all. I wouldn't mind at all.
I think they could. It's fun to see. I know I shouldn't say that because I'm a United fan. I can't share that. Yeah, I can't say anything. I can't
That's
say
okay.
anything about this. I can't say
That's
anything
okay.
about this.
I
So
get it. I get it. So, but yeah, Andy, that is where we are at with the leagues. It is time for our favorite segment, Super Subs and Super Duds. For once, I'm
yeah,
gonna make you go first.
thank you, Paul. That's very
Yeah.
nice of you. I'm going to say for a super sub, this is kind of a historic super sub. Not kind of historic. This is historic. So this is a thing to be positive about. Marie-Louise Eta is now the manager of Union Berlin. That makes her the first female, no, unlike saying female, first woman that is going to be a head coach of a men's team. So,
It's
what that
very
now,
exciting.
this is big because obviously you've seen men and women manage in the women's league, but now I think you're going to start seeing that happen in the male leagues as well, and that I think that would be a nice thing to see there.
Yeah.
So
I think
Union
it
Berlin are
only
taking it.
it only brings positive things to the league.
I think so.
There's so many women who have so much knowledge about the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we get to the point with these top leagues where, kind of the same managers get recycled from team to team to team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like sometimes you need some fresh blood, you need some new ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and I think this will only bring positive things for the game.
I think so. I think it'll open up the conversation more to get more equality across the board.
Yep.
So that's where I stand with that. So that's a pretty good thing, I think. So Union Berlin will now continue with Marie-Louise Eta, I think, as the interim for here on out. So we'll see how that goes. And Superdud, Paul, I'll just skip to it because I think we'll end on a similar vein in that officiating. I'm
Yep.
really upset and hate how officiating is now making its mark on games when it should not be making its mark on games. The best officiating is like you don't even know the official's there. That's how it should be, and we're very very far from that. It feels so. I'll pass it over to you, Paul. Super sub and super dud. Who do you got?
Yeah, I think super sub Frankie making his return, getting an assist was really nice to see, and then Ferran Torres just finally scoring,
Mm-hmm.
finally in first time in almost 3 months, I think. And Andy, I hope that it's going to bring more value because I think he's gone. I think he's
Yeah.
gone in the summer, and he hasn't delivered the consistent results because at the beginning of the year we were saying Lewandowski's gone, Torres is in. He's just not naturally a striker. I've talked
Mm-hmm.
about it before. I will talk about it again. That's not his natural position, and he struggles in that position. So
Yeah.
I've heard talks that Barcelona are going to look for a new number one striker and potentially keep Lewandowski at about half of his price currently
Mm-hmm.
as the backup because he's still a good backup option. He's just not a day in and day out starter like he was last season.
Yeah.
We've seen him kind of lose a step, but he's somebody you could definitely bring in into a situation, give you air presence, and give you a good 25, 30 plus minutes to close a game.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that goes in the summer. But nice to see Ferran back on the score sheet, and after almost 3 months of not scoring. So super dud Andy is going to be Istvan Kovac. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I could be very wrong, but he is he was the referee for the Barcelona Atletico Madrid first leg game. We've already talked about it. That's who it is. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
also going to give a super dud to Diego Simeone because final whistle goes, doesn't even shake Hansi's hand. He just sprints down the tunnel. I'm like, you are such a piece of you know what.
He's such a wind up merchant to do
Yeah.
that.
Like
Stupid.
you can't win with class and shake Hansi's hand.
Mm-hmm.
Like that you got away with something, so you can't even be like, yeah, good game,
Yeah.
well done, see you in a week kind of thing. Like, come on, bro. Like, what are we doing?
I think the day that he retires, I think is going to be a better day for managers in world football to kind of stop with these shenanigans
Yeah.
because it's unbecoming, I think, of a manager to do that. So
Yep. 100%.
that's where I'm kind of at with that.
Yep.
You also reminded me of to get away from the officiating and get to another favorite topic of mine of bashing Arsenal. I will give another super dud then, since you gave a second super dud. I'm going to give my second super dud to Gyökeres for making that mention of that the grass was a bit patchy or a bit dry, and as a reason for their loss to Bournemouth. Um, yeah,
Cool.
when
Love
when
it.
you when you have your fan TV, I have to show you this one part from like Arsenal fan TV where even the main announcer is like cannot believe what an Arsenal fan has said in terms of like an excuse of why Arsenal didn't play well.
Yeah.
I'll have to send it to you because it's really funny.
Please do. Please do.
But it's reminiscent of that. So ending on that. So I'm smiling just thinking about it because it's so funny to me. So we started our podcast with smiles, ended our podcast with smiles. So hopefully we'll be all smiles next podcast for you guys, which will be coming next week. But until then, I've been Andy, Paul has been Paul, and with that, I'm wishing you all a big old bye.
Bye.